How pharma industry can rely on KanBo to build trust with society. There is nothing more important for a pharma organization than its integrity, reliability, and reputation. It's the brand name and logo printed on the product packaging that stakeholders, including patients, doctors, and insurers, put their faith in. Without any reputational cash, pharma businesses cannot hope to attain any success within the industry. This is exactly why pharmaceutical companies ensure they invest in the endeavors that directly contribute towards building trust with society, so they can establish their business as a highly reputed enterprise. Without approval from society, a pharma organization will struggle to gain trust in the healthcare industry as well as consumer circles. Due to the aforementioned reasons, pharma businesses need to be responsible for their social, governance, and environmental duties. This is known as corporate social responsibility. The operations of a large-scale enterprise can be quite damaging to the planet if the organization doesn't take inclusion, environment friendliness, and sustainability into consideration and incorporates every aspect into its strategic decision-making. This can further lead to distrust and reputational impairment in the society, causing a direct impact on the bottom line of the business. KanBo provides pharma organizations with a comprehensive work and collaboration platform that can be leveraged in numerous ways to achieve CSR goals and targets to build trust. Understanding social trust. When we refer to social trust or building trust with society, we are talking about earning the confidence of those who rely on the pharma organization to deliver and acquire healthcare services and products. Without earning the trust of these stakeholders, which usually include patients, consumers, vendors, insurers, physicians, and more, the pharma business cannot develop and grow a sustainable brand. If a pharmaceutical company is serious about building a brand that can grow into a long-term concern, it needs to focus on the following aspects of establishing and nurturing social trust: environmental, social, and governance, ESG. Commonly referred to as ESG, environmental, social, and governance denote the three significant factors that are used for determining the sustainability and ethical impact of an investment made by the pharma organization. This means that if a pharma company is planning to invest its funds, it should be done in a way to comply with ESG goals and targets set by regional and international bodies. Corporate social responsibility, CSR. Although CSR is a term that has caught on, there are numerous names for it, including corporate sustainability, sustainable business, corporate conscience, corporate citizenship, and more. IT basically means that the organization doesn't have to be forced by an external regulatory institution to take the responsibility for its impact on the environment and social well-being of people. The company should be conscientious enough to self-regulate and ensure that it complies with good ethics and practices. Social collaboration. As the name suggests, social collaboration is a working environment and a set of processes that allow a multitude of teams as well as individuals to engage, interact, and share information freely to achieve shared goals. Social collaboration across departments is key for building trust with society. Building trust with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs has put forth 17 different goals and targets that large-scale organizations are required to achieve to build trust with the society they operate in. These goals include the following. Goal 1: ending all types of poverty. People who live on less than $1.25 a day are considered to be extremely poor by the United Nations. By 2030, the global organization aims to eradicate that extreme poverty in all forms by ensuring all men and women have access to economic resources and deploying regionally adequate social safety nets. This also includes reducing their exposure to climate-related calamities and other economic and environmental disasters. Goal 2: ending hunger and achieving food security. According to the UN's manifesto, ensuring access to nutritious and sufficient food should be made a priority for poor and vulnerable people, including infants. This should be achieved by ending all types of malnutrition and addressing the needs of pregnant and adolescent girls, along with focusing on improving agricultural productivity and incomes of small food producers. This means that organizations need to contribute to developing sustainable food production systems and deploy resilient agricultural methods to improve production and maintain ecosystems in the midst of global warming. Goal 3: Promote health and well-being for all ages. By 2030, decrease the worldwide maternal mortality proportion and attempt to eliminate preventable death of infants and youngsters under 5 years old, with all nations planning to lessen neonatal mortality. End the pandemics of AIDS, tuberculosis, jungle fever, and ignored tropical sicknesses and battle hepatitis, waterborne infections, and other transferable illnesses. Lessen untimely mortality from non-transmittable sicknesses through anticipation and therapy and advance psychological well-being. Reinforce the counteraction and treatment of substance misuse, including opiate illicit drug use and hurtful utilization of liquor. Decrease worldwide deaths and guarantee widespread access to sexual and conceptive medical care administrations, including for family planning, data and schooling, and the mix of regenerative well-being into public procedures and projects. Accomplish widespread well-being inclusion, including financial security, provision of quality medical care, and access to protected, quality, and cheap medications and immunizations for all. Considerably diminish deaths and diseases from dangerous synthetic compounds and air, water, and soil contamination and pollution. Goal 4: Enhanced access to equitable education and learning opportunities. By 2030, guarantee that all young women and men complete free and quality essential and optional education and have access to quality youth advancement, care, and pre-primary schooling. Apart from that, they should have access to affordable and quality specialized, professional, and tertiary schooling, including college. Considerably increase the quantity of youth and adults who have applicable abilities, including specialized and professional abilities, for business, managing positions, and business ventures. Take out sex incongruities in schooling and guarantee equivalent access to all degrees of education and professional preparing for the less privileged people with inabilities, Native people groups, and kids in vulnerable circumstances. Make sure that all young and a significant extent of adults accomplish proficiency and numeracy and secure the information and abilities needed to advance development, including education for sustainable development and ways of life, common liberties, sexual orientation correspondence, advancement of a culture of harmony and peacefulness, worldwide citizenship, and enthusiasm for social variety and of culture's role in sustainable development. Goal 5: Focusing on women empowerment and gender equality. During the next decade, end all types of victimization of women and underage girls all over the world and dispense with all types of violence against them in the general population and private circles, including sexual and other kinds of exploitation such as trafficking. Wipe out every single hurtful practice, like underage, early and coerced marriage, and female genital mutilation. Acknowledge neglected domestic work through the arrangement of public services, framework, and social safety net along with the advancement of shared liability inside the family as regionally adequate. Guarantee viable support and equivalent freedoms for leadership at all degrees of decision-making. Provide all-inclusive access to sexual and conceptive well-being and reproductive freedoms as concurred as per the Program of Action of the International Conference on Population and Development. Goal 6: Better water and sanitation management for all. In the next 10 years, accomplish fair access to protected and cheap drinking water for all and provide satisfactory hygiene and cleanliness for all, really focusing on the necessities of women and those in difficult circumstances. Further develop water quality by diminishing contamination, taking out unloading, and limiting arrival of dangerous synthetics and materials, decreasing the extent of untreated wastewater, and significantly expanding reusing and safe reuse. Considerably improve water use proficiency across all areas and guarantee supportable withdrawals and supply of fresh water to address water shortage and lessen the number of individuals experiencing water shortage. Deploy incorporated water asset management, including through transboundary participation, and secure and re-establish water-related biological systems, including mountains, woods, wetlands, streams, springs, and lakes. Goal 7. Provide access to affordable and sustainable energy. During the next 10 years, guarantee widespread access to dependable and affordable energy along with improving the portion of an environmentally friendly power in the worldwide energy blend. Ensure at least twice the global pace of progress in energy productivity. Goal 8. Ensure inclusive and sustainable economic growth for all. Support per capita financial development as per public conditions, and accomplish elevated levels of labor efficiency through diversity and technological innovation, particularly through high esteem added and work concentrated areas. Advance result-focused strategies that help productive exercises, work creation, business venture, and development, and empower the formalization and development of small and medium-sized businesses, including through the provision of financial services. Further, develop worldwide asset productivity in utilization and creation, and try to dissociate financial development from natural preservation, with developed nations taking more responsibility. Accomplish full and productive employment opportunities for everyone, including for youngsters and people with disabilities, and equivalent compensation for work of equivalent worth. Considerably decrease the extent of youth not in business, education, or preparing to go to any lengths to end coercive work, end current bondage and illegal exploitation, and eliminate the most exceedingly terrible types of child labor, including enrollment and utilization of young soldiers. Eradicate child labor in the entirety of its structures and ensure work privileges and advance free from any and all harmful working conditions for all laborers, including immigrants. Plan and execute strategies to advance the sustainable industry of tourism that generates employment and promotes regional culture. Fortify the abilities of regional financial institutions to urge and extend access to banking, protection, and monetary services for all. Goal 9. Support economic development with resilient infrastructure. One of the most significant sustainability targets specified by the UN is to produce high-quality, sustainable, reliable, and resilient infrastructure. This initiative includes transborder and regional infrastructure so the needed assistance can be delivered for economic development and the general well-being of the people by concentrating on equitable and affordable access for all. Goal 10. Curb global inequality. Continuously support pay development of the least privileged populace at a rate higher than the public average. Engage and advance the social, financial, and political incorporation of all, independent of age, sex, race, identity, religion, or other status. Guarantee equivalent freedom and diminish disparities of result, including by taking out biased laws and advancing fitting regulation, approaches, and activity. Embrace strategies, particularly monetary, pay, and social security policies, and ensure noteworthy equity. Work on the guideline and checking of global economic business sectors and foundations and fortify the execution of such guidelines. Guarantee improved portrayal for agricultural nations in decision production in worldwide financial and economic foundations to convey more powerful, dependable, responsible, and authentic organizations. Work with methodical, protected, and mindful relocation and mobility of individuals. Goal 11. Safe, inclusive, and sustainable cities and settlements. Guarantee access for everyone to satisfactory, affordable, and protected accommodation and ensure access to protected, reasonably priced, open and practical transportation, further developing street safety, eminently by growing public transportation, with extraordinary regard for the necessities of those in difficult circumstances, women, youngsters, and people with disabilities. Improve sustainable urbanization and ability for participatory, coordinated, and economical human settlement in all nations. Reinforce endeavors to ensure and protect the world's social and natural legacy. Essentially diminish the number of deaths, the number of individuals impacted, and considerably cut down the direct financial misfortunes comparative with worldwide GDP brought about by natural disasters, with an emphasis on securing poor people and individuals in vulnerable circumstances. Decrease the unfavorable per capita natural effect of urban areas, including by focusing on air quality and metropolitan and other waste administration. Give general access to protected, comprehensive and open, green, and public spaces, specifically for ladies and kids and people with incapacities. Goal 12. Promote sustainable consumption and production. Execute the 10-year structure of projects on sustainable utilization and creation with developed nations leading the pack, considering the turn of events and abilities of emerging nations. Accomplish the sustainable administration and effective utilization of natural assets and cut down per capita worldwide food waste in half at the retail and buyer levels, along with diminishing food losses and supply chains, including post-collect wastage. Acquire the ability to manage chemicals in an eco-friendly manner and all losses for the duration of their life cycle and fundamentally diminish their delivery to air, water, and soil to limit their unfriendly effects on human well-being and the climate. Significantly diminish wastage through avoidance, reduced consumption, reusing, and recycling. Energize organizations, particularly large and transnational organizations, to take on sustainable practices and to coordinate sustainability data into their detailing cycle. Advance acquisition processes that are supportable, as per public strategies and needs. Guarantee that individuals wherever have the pertinent data and mindfulness for sustainable development and ways of life in congruity with nature. Goal 13. Taking urgent initiative to confront global warming. Fortify strength and versatile ability to environment-related perils and catastrophic events in all nations. Incorporate environmental change measures into public approaches and methodologies. Further develop education, mindfulness, and the human and institutional ability for environmental change moderation, transformation, and early admonition. Goal 14. Conservation and sustainability of oceans and marine resources. By 2025, forestall and altogether lessen marine contamination, specifically from land-based exercises, including marine pollution and supplement contamination. Sustainably oversee and ensure marine and beachfront biological systems to keep away from unfavorable effects, including by fortifying their flexibility, and make a move for their rebuilding to accomplish healthy oceans. Limit and address the effects of sea fermentation, including through upgraded logical participation at all levels. Successfully control collecting and end overfishing, illicit, unreported, and unregulated fishing, and disastrous fishing practices, and execute science-based administration plans to re-establish fish stocks in the briefest time achievable, essentially to levels that can deliver the greatest reasonable yield as dictated by their organic qualities. Moderate no less than 10% of seaside and marine regions, predictable with public and worldwide law and in light of the best accessible logical data. Deny specific types of fisheries sponsorships which add to overcapacity and overfishing, dispose of endowments that add to unlawful, unreported, and unregulated fishing, and cease from presenting new such appropriations, recognizing that viable, extraordinary, and differential treatment for developing and least developed nations ought to be a basic part of the WTO fisheries subsidies. Enhance the monetary advantages to the small island states and least developed nations from the sustainable utilization of marine assets, including through sustainable management of fisheries, hydroponics, and the travel industry. Goal 15. Protect and restore sustainable usage of terrestrial ecosystems. Guarantee the preservation, reclamation, and sustainable utilization of earthbound and inland freshwater environments, specifically backwoods, wetlands, mountains, and drylands, in accordance with commitments under peaceful accords. Advance the execution of feasible management of a wide range of timberlands, stop deforestation, re-establish corrupted backwoods, and considerably improve afforestation and reforestation universally. Battle desertification, re-establish debased land and soil, including land impacted by desertification, dry season, and floods, and endeavor to accomplish a world without land degradation. Make sure mountain ecosystems, including their biodiversity, are preserved to improve their ability to give advantages that are crucial for sustainable development. Make a pressing and critical move to decrease the corruption of regular living spaces, stop the deficiency of biodiversity, and forestall the annihilation of compromised species. Advance reasonable and fair sharing of the advantages emerging from the usage of natural assets and elevate suitable access to such assets. Make an earnest move to end poaching and dealing of protected types of greenery and address both interest and supply of unlawful natural life items. Acquaint measures that fundamentally lessen the effect of obtrusive outsider species ashore and water ecosystems and control or kill the priority species. Incorporate biological system and biodiversity education into public and local strategy, improvement processes, and poverty alleviation processes. Goal 16. Encourage peaceful and inclusive communities. This goal sets the target of lessening all types of violence and related deaths all over the planet. End misuse, trafficking, exploitation, and all types of violence against and torment of youngsters. Advance law and order at the public and global levels and guarantee equivalent access to equity for all. Altogether decrease unlawful monetary and arms streams, fortify the recuperation and return of taken resources, and battle all types of coordinated crime. Significantly diminish corruption and bribery. Foster compelling, responsible, and inclusive organizations at all levels. Guarantee responsive, comprehensive, participatory, and delegate independent direction. Expand and reinforce the cooperation of non-industrial nations in the organizations of worldwide governments. Ensure community access to data and secure basic opportunities, as per public regulation and peace accords. Goal 17. Improve means of execution and rekindle global partnerships. Reinforce the method for execution and revive the worldwide organization for feasible advancement in various areas including finance, innovation, limit building, exchange, and foundational issues. How KanBo helps pharma organizations to build trust with society? Any organization that's trying to build trust with society through accomplishing the aforementioned goals needs a digital framework that can operate at all levels. If the said framework is spread across different teams, it makes it quite challenging to monitor work and information that results in inefficiency. KanBo, with its basic building blocks, enables managers, team leaders, executives, and employees as they can create and improve their processes and project plans according to their evolving needs. For C-level executives, digital headquarters. For top management, the overview of the business and bird's eye view holds all the importance. KanBo provides them with a digital headquarters they need with quick and convenient access to strategy, tasks, projects, information, knowledge, documentation, internal communication, and organizational community along with integral applications. This means that they can make important decisions on the go without having to hold meetings and video calls every other day. For citizen developers, a low-code platform. When we talk about low-code platforms, we refer to a visual approach in terms of software development that allows swift delivery of applications without manual coding. Low-code platforms exist to make app development more mainstream, especially for citizen developers who are basically business users with very little professional coding experience. These may include project managers and business analysts. As a low-code platform, KanBo enables employees to make a significant impact in a multitude of ways, such as getting rid of IT department backlogs, eliminating shadow IT, and taking ownership of business process management (BPM) work streams. For citizen developers, a no-code platform. No-code development platforms (NCDPs) enable coders and non-coders to create application software through GUIs and configuration features. They don't use conventional computer programming, which can be more complex. No-code development platforms like KanBo are closely related to low-code development platforms, as both are designed to make the application development process quicker. These platforms have both increased in popularity as companies deal with the parallel trends of an increasingly mobile workforce and a limited supply of competent software developers. Information workers, a work organization platform. A process is a procedure that constitutes a sequence of steps that need to be deployed to produce a certain outcome. On the other hand, a project is a temporary course of action that aims to deliver a distinctive product, service, or result. To manage these processes and projects seamlessly, KanBo provides a central hub with all the features required by the employees, managers, and executives. Final word. For pharma associations, the functional ability isn't just with regards to reducing down expenses, but to guaranteeing operational congruity while meeting their sustainability objectives. However, there are various difficulties and bottlenecks that substitute the way, including an absence of digitalization, lack of communication and coordination along with the digital framework, and proper crisis management processes. That is the reason most pharma companies require a focal-centered stage for work and business processes. KanBo goes about as a focal center point for companies and unites everything. It conveys all that is needed for functional efficiency, including informational transparency, work visibility, strong security, and thorough supervision and monitoring. With KanBo, pharma organizations can conquer every one of the difficulties and be all the more functionally proficient.